Hey, what's up, guys? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC Denmark, UFC Copenhagen, UFC Fight Night 1, whatever it is. Jack Hermansson against Jared Cannonier as your main event here from the Royal Arena. Obviously in Copenhagen, Denmark, as the UFC make their jaunt into another country they've never been before, so I always like to see that. And I think this is a really good European card. Looking forward to this card, if I'm being honest with you. Lots of fine matchups. There's guys coming to the UFC I'm looking forward to seeing. I just think it's a good card, especially coming off what was last week. Like that, the end of that card was pretty horrific, for being honest with you. Just thank you to all the new subs. Thank you for liking it. If you do like what you see here, hit the sub button. And if you like the video, please hit a like. Please hit the thumbs up and give me a like if you can. And if you've got any queries or something that you don't like, let me know. Put it in the comment box. Last thing I'm going to talk about before I move into the fights. A few weeks ago, I had my posters that I'm going to be doing, giving away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to literally go in the drop down box. I'm going to leave there. If you would like to be entered into maybe winning this poster or a poster of your choice, then say you would like to enter, just comment below and I'll get back to you. And then I think we're going to start running these very, very soon, probably maybe even next week at UFC 243. And then the winner can get a poster, I'll get it sent out to you. So yeah, we're going to start off in this card down in the bantamweight division with a debuting fighter I'm really looking forward to seeing. We've got Jack Shore making his UFC debut against Nohelen Hernandez. Jack Shore, I've been a fan of this kid since kind of clapped eyes on him way back in 2014 as an amateur in Las Vegas. Watched him at the UFC Fan Expo. It was like the IMAFFs, I think it is, the amateurs pretty much. He went undefeated as an amateur, won that, and he's 11-0, undefeated as a professional. Cage Warriors champion, fought at featherweight for the longest time, then moved down to bantamweight, where he looks right at home, and he's putting it all together. Like 24 years of age, really, really, really solid fighter. I love his ground game. I think he's got to work in his hands a little bit. That's coming along slowly but surely. But his ground game is where he really excels. You can see that with his positioning, with his pressure on top. We've seen in the Mike Eckendale fight where he got takedowns, and that was a big fight for me because I thought Eckendale, I think he was undefeated at the time. Obviously, he's went on to beat Scott Malone, who was undefeated, and so on. But yeah, his ground game is where he excels at. Big ground and pound, and he's obviously always looking for submissions. Nicolas Hernandez, the guy that I was actually really impressed with in his debut. I thought he showed a lot of heart, but he obviously showed where his deficiency is, and that is on the ground. On the feet, I think he's got the advantage. Actually, I think he's a more slicker striker than what Jack Shore is. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to stop the takedowns. And like I say, in the Chito fight, you seen once he got it to the ground, it only kind of went one way from there, and I think Jack Shore is going to submit this guy. So I've got Jack Shore via submission, maybe early round 3. I think his pressure in the first two rounds will kind of lead to that finish in the third round. So yeah, I've got Jack Shore via submission in that one there. Lightweight division, Lando Venata against Mark Diakiese. Good fight here. I think this could be potential really, really exciting fight early on in the card as well. So if you're going to the event, get in there nice and early and watch this one. Really impressed with Mark Diakiese in his last fight. That's the Diakiese I've been expecting for a long time, not the one, all the flash that he showed when he went to American Top Team, where I think he maybe went to his head a little bit. He moved back home, went back to his gym where he, before made the UFC, that's where he made himself as a fighter pretty much, and his striking came together. He mixed in the takedowns very well in that fight, and he really just beat up Joe Duffy for pretty much the entirety of that fight. And his losses, I mean, to Drakkar Klose, Dan Hooker, Haqparast, they're not bad losses. They really aren't bad losses. Of course, never getting a loss it's never any good, but they are 3 guys which I think are very, very tough. They've got good skill sets. Kloser's going to be close to a top 15 guy. I think Haqparast will be, and Hooker's got himself a big fight with Iaquinta coming up next week, so no shame in losing to those guys. I think that Venata's probably got the more kind of wrestling pedigree, kind of more of the background to it, but I think Diakiese's a more, he is like I think he is a really good wrestler. I think he can take the fight to the ground. I think he can mix up well on the feet. A little bit of a firefight it could be. Vannata, I've never liked his head movement. He lacks head movement a lot. So that's something that I think comes more into the later rounds. And I mean, he beat Marcus Mariano last time out via Kimura. Mariano is ridiculously bad. I mean, Claudio Puelles, 30-25 that did at the weekend. He has no right being in the UFC. I don't think we'll ever see him again in the UFC. I hope not. But that's a cupcake win, in my opinion, in that fight. But this is a big step up here. Not a big step up, but a bigger fight than what he had against Mariano, I'm trying to say. I'm going to go Diakese. I'm a little bit baffled why this is the second fight of the card. I think this should be in the main card when you see what the co-main event is. Yeah, I would put this on the main card. I think both guys might start to fade as the fight goes on. I think Vannata shows that a little bit more. His head movement is just, he gets hit with shots, straight shots, but he is a very versatile striker himself. I just think Diakese can mix up. I think he can get takedowns. I think on the feet he can do more than enough on the feet to keep Vannata at bay, and I've got him to win via a decision in that one there. Macy Chiason's against Lena Landsberg next. Macy Chiason is going to... I like what the UFC are doing here by just kind of feeding her to these kind of girls who... It's given her more experience. She's still a young fighter with a kind of young record. Only like 4 or 5 fights, and obviously she had the tough fights as well. But yeah, I think she's got more than enough tools in the tool belt here to take out Lena Landsberg. I think she can take her out via vicious strikes. I think she can take her out via submission. I think this is just a good fight for Macy Chiasson, and the gym that she comes from at the minute is on fire. Like Miles Jones won in Canada, Stephen Ocho Peterson with that spinning back fist last week, which was absolutely sickening, the noise of that thing, but it was beautiful at the same time. It's like one of my favourite knockouts of the whole entire year, and I bet in Stephen Peterson as well, so that's always nice when you have a bet come in style like that as well. Considering he lost the first round, it was a nice one to get. So yeah, I've got Macy Chiasson. I'm actually looking to put on a parlay with someone later on in the card here, where I think her by submission or TKO is you're going to get a decent kind of parlay boost on my opinion there. So Macy Chiasson, I'm going to pick her via TKO in round number 2. Brandon Davis against Giga Chikadze is up next. I've got Brandon Davis. Chikadze has no right being in the UFC. When you look at the guys and the records that they fought outside of the UFC, I mean, why are they signing this dude? I know that I think Ali Abdelaziz is his manager, so maybe that explains it. The guy can maybe work wonders and get you into the UFC even with that. But he comes from a striking background. He's seen him in Glory and kickboxing and all that jazz outside of the UFC, but in MMA, he's fought a load of cans. He fought, I think it was Austin Springer, I want to say, on the Dana White Contender Series. Lost that one, didn't look good. Brandon Davis, he's literally fighting 5 weeks after fighting at UFC 241, where he lost a split to Kyung Ho Kang at 135. Obviously, he's at 145 here. I think he's got more ways to win the fight. I think Giga's got to knock him out or really establish distance, and really, not unless Brandon Davis has a stand-up fight with him, which would baffle me if he did that. If he did that here, then he's asking to lose the fight. If he gets takedowns, he wins the fight, as long as he doesn't get hit with the big blows to get knocked out on here. But I've got Brandon Davis to win via decision, maybe even a submission at some point of this fight. Yeah, a little bit perplexed to see why Giga's really in the UFC, but I'm going to take Brandon Davis to win that one there. Just thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. I see a couple in there. There's a new thing that's come on the side of my phone saying how many likes and how many people are there. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Siyar Bahadurzada against Ismail Naurdiev is up next. Ismail, like, really young kid. You can see there's a lot of potential. And like I say, I think he's had a lot of fights. He's had like 24, I think it's fight number 24 for him. There was a lot of hype obviously going into him in that fight with Chandra Encounter. And to be fair, I put my hand up because I thought Ismail, I think I kind of was drinking the Kool-Aid. I thought he was going to come in here, really fight that guy. Not easily, because Encounter's a hard guy to face. But Chance took a couple of shots initially early on. But once he got that guy to the ground, he dominated him on the ground. And it was pretty good to see. But like, eye-opening for Naurdiev. Obviously, that's where he needs to really work on his skill set, because if he gets taken down and dominated like that, people are going to come and try and replicate what Transfer Encounter did. Now, Siyar Bahadurzada, he's been around for a long time. I think he's been in the UFC for like 7, maybe 8 years, and maybe only had like one fight, or averages one fight per year. He used to be the dangerous striker way back. I think he's lost his speed a little bit, but I think he's came more into getting takedowns, but he's not super dominant with those takedowns. And what you've seen with Naurdiev is, even though in the first round against Transfer Encounter, he showed a nice ability to not get taken down, nice balance and so on. But eventually, once he got him down there, Chance was able to keep him there. But Chance is a big dude at welterweight. Siyar's not the biggest dude, and he's not he's not that domineering when he's in top position either. But he can get the fight to the ground. But if he stays on the feet, I think that he's dangerous. But I think he's at a massive speed disadvantage. So I think he has to mix it up. But I think he's got power that can hurt Naurdiev as well. But I just think that Naurdiev maybe has too many tools with his kicks, with his combination striking that may hurt Siyar. But I'm going to take a shot on Siyar Bahadurzada here. I think that if he can get him down and establish a game where he can keep him there. Now, I know I've said that he's not really did that in the past, but if you look at his fights, I'm just bringing up fight metric here. Siyar has had takedowns in the majority of his fights. I know he did it against Curtis Millender, didn't really work out too well, because he kind of got beat up in the feet there. He got thoroughly outstruck by Curtis Millender. But Lewin Chagas took him down. The Brandon Thatch fight took him down. Now, Brandon Thatch, he was allergic to getting taken. Like he got taken down at will all the time. I think that's where he's going to want to look to take this fight, is to the ground. I think he will have success in doing that. I think it could get sketchy for him on the feet, but I'm going to take a shot on Siyar Bahadurzada to get the W there. That's a little bit of a flyer for this week for me in that one there, but I'm going to take him to get that one there. Middleweight division, Alessio Di Chirico against Makhmud Muradov. This really surprised me, because I've heard of this Maradov, but I'd never watched any of his fights beforehand. And it was interesting to me. I went into it last week watching 1 AM in the morning. I'd not long finished work. I wanted to watch a little bit of this guy. And I like what I've seen from this guy. I really, really did. I thought, I don't want to say he was polished, but the guy's had a lot of fights. I found out that he signed to the money team. He's one of Floyd Mayweather's guys, which was kind of surprising to me. Not that it means much for this fight here. I think he comes more from a grappling background. But if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen the tweet I put out last week where he knocked out Alberto Uda, who used to fight in the UFC, caught him with a massive right hand, and then kind of followed with the dive and Dan Henderson leap, like kind of a la Michael Bisping when he knocked him out. The fights that I watched, like there's a lot of fights on YouTube, if you go and have a look, he gets takedowns every fight. He's got massive ground and pound. He never settles for one position. He tries to move into a more domineering position. The only things that's kind of worrying me in this fight is the fact it's short notice. Di Chirico is a UFC vet who's fought better fighters than what Maradov has. And he's had a full camp. He was supposed to fight Peter Sabota. Sabota pulled out and he got the opportunity. I think it was on 2 weeks' notice, I want to say. But when I was watching some footage on Maradov, I looked at it and I seen the betting odds. He was plus 163. And I was like, but he's a pretty big dog. Came back 1 hour 20 later, he's plus 150. I thought, right, I'm going to have to jump on this if I'm going to bet on him, because I like what I've seen. And I think he can give Di Chirico a really, really tough outing here, because Di Chirico's not really explosive in any real areas. He's not really good in any big area, but he's very, very solid in pretty much every area. And I just think that Maradov can maybe stop takedowns. He can get takedowns. I think he's got more variation with his striking. I think Alessio was very kind of technical with the jab and the low kicks, but his striking's not all that good. So I actually bet Makhmud Muradov at plus 150. Now his betting line flipped completely to the point where he is now. Where is he? Sorry, minus 145 favourite. So I see value actually in Alessio Di Chirico here. I still think, and I know I've bet him as an underdog, I still think he should be an underdog. I would give the slight advantage to Alessio Di Chirico. But I like the 150 I got. I thought there was opportunity there to get a good dog who could fight for my money. But there is a couple of things that are a little bit putting me off, obviously, with lack of experience and Chrico being in the UFC. But he's not showed me anything to say he's a world beater. And this guy could come in and give him a run for his money. So I'm going to go Makhmud Maradov to win via decision. I think it could get really close. If you were to take a shot on Alessio, I wouldn't. I don't think it's a bad bet personally. I think him at dog odds. I think he should be the favourite in this spot, but it is what it is. But I've got the newcomer here via decision. Whereabouts are we? There we go. Alen Amedovski against John Phillips. This has the potential to be a firefight in my opinion. I think that, but in saying that, I thought John Phillips and Jack Marshman was going to be that kind of firefight last time out, and it didn't turn out to be that way. And I was very confident that he was going to win that fight as a big underdog, and he kind of shot the bed a little bit. Even though when I watched it back, I still think he won the fight, but Marshman fought a kind of safe fight, safe game plan, and maybe deserved to get the decision. But yeah, Amedovski, I thought, didn't really show much against Krzysztof Jotko, but that's a tough fight to come into because Jotko's a good grappler. He times his shots very well. He's got some good top pressure. Where the fights beforehand, if you go and watch Amedovski, he throws a lot of heat, and that's something that could happen with John Phillips here. But John Phillips just has not impressed me in his UFC run. I'm still surprised he's with the UFC. So I'm going to take Amedovski here. I think, like I say, if this gets into being a firefight, to me, it's one of these fights you flip a coin, see where it lands and goes there, because it could turn into a firefight, and that could really maybe help out John Phillips. But I think if Amedovski was to maybe mix up with some takedowns with the striking, I think he could win through that. So I'm going to go Amedovski. Not confident, but I'm going to pick him in this one here. Moving on to the main card, Nicolas Dalby against Alex Oliveira. Dalby is obviously making his return to the UFC, and I'm super, super happy that he's got the opportunity to fight in Denmark and come back here because my good friend John, who I do the MMA Huddle podcast with, did an interview with Nicolas Dalby, and if you go and watch that on our YouTube page, you'll see that he had a really rough time after his first UFC tenure, where he had some personal demons, really was in a bad spot, and he's managed to turn his life around, got back into Cage Warriors, got that strap, had an almighty banger of a fight with Ross Houston last time out where he got stopped because there was so much blood on the canvas that they couldn't keep their footing, and it was dangerous for both fighters, and the referee took a massive elbow in that first round, got cut, but the guy is so durable, he's so tough, he gets hit a lot though, and that's my kind of worry because Oliveira swings heavy and can hit you with some big shots, but he can also, if you can catch him with said elbows like Gunnar Nelson caught him with one right in his head, cut him open, managed to submit him, if you can hit him with that big shot, then you can maybe slow him down. I think this is one of the things that Dalby might be looking at, is because I think Oliveira's going to start off really quick, and I think he's going to get up on Dalby. But I can maybe see Dalby starting to come into this fight late on and get the crowd on his side, and yeah, I can see this being close if Oliveira doesn't, if he starts to fade and he gives Dalby the opportunity to come into, because we've seen Dalby in the past. The guy never gives up. You've seen I always remember the Darren Till fight, sitting there in Dublin, great seats. Till, that was before Till really jumped off as being, I don't want to say he's a big name, because I don't think he really is a big name. I think he got blew up a little bit too quick in my opinion, but he's a named guy that he's got a big following down in England with the Liverpool people and so on, and fought for a UFC titles, which is something not a lot of people do. But Dalby in that third round absolutely went through Darren Till, 10-8 round. I remember seeing him in the hotel that night, and there was just they were both having a drink, enjoying each other's company, and it was pretty cool to see that. I'm going to see, I think Dalby's going to get a lot of love this week. I hope Nicolas Dalby, if I could pick one person to win in this fight card, it's Nicolas Dalby. I just think he's going to be in a really close fight, and I think Oliveira's going to go up early, and he's going to win a decision through that. So I'm going to go Alex Oliveira via decision in that one. Michal Oleksiejczuk against Ovince and Preux up next. I've got Oleksiejczuk in this one here. I think this is a fight the UFC are putting together to get Michal that noticeable win over a ranked guy who's been a ranked guy for a long time. And to me, OSP is just diving slowly and slowly down as a fighter. And he's been around a long time as well. He's fought the best guys in the division. But it looks like he's that gatekeeper now where he's like, what, 36? I didn't realise he was that old. So the guy's an old and aging fighter in this division with all the youngsters coming through, your Johnny Walkers, your Dominic Reyes, and so on and so on. We've seen in that fight with Krylov, he got some takedowns early, looked like he had the advantage on the ground, and then kind of started to fade a little bit. Nikita got to a dominant position, and then he caught him with a rear naked choke. The Dominic Reyes one, he took a lot of blows in that first round. And then in the third round, he got like dropped right at the end of the round, and really you could have called that a TKO victory there. And then they feed him to this guy who I think is a really good, crisp counter puncher. He's shown that he's got a lot of skill with the guys that he's beat so far. But when you look at who he's beat, I mean, he beat Khalil in his UFC debut. I did not see that one coming. And then he's ran through Volante and Antigulov in his last two fights in a couple of minutes either side. So the guy's got some decent striking. We've seen in the Khalil fight that he had some grappling, but that's against Khalil Rountree. He's not really known for stopping many takedowns. I just think this is a set-up fight for him to get into this top 15. And I've got him to knock out OSP. I think he does it in the first two rounds. So I've got Oleksiejczuk. And I was talking earlier about Macy Chiasson in my parlay. Michal's the other guy at minus 230, I think he is. If I can get a decent number in that with Macy Chiasson via knockout or submission, I'll probably make that parlay. If that's not a good line, then I'm probably going to parlay him with Pitbull, who's fighting on the Bellator card. So I'm definitely going to be playing Michal Oleksiejczuk this weekend. So yeah. Staying in the light heavyweight division, Ion Cutelaba against Khalil Rountree. I'm looking forward to this fight. I love watching Ion Cutelaba fights. The guy's a wild bastard. He really is. He's a wild fucker. This guy, where you never know what you're going to get with him. Like we'll do kind of anything. Like he'll go for nut shots. He will go for kind of illegal knees. He will try anything to get the upper hand. Is when you watch that Teixeira fight. I'm never usually a fan of stuff like that, but I don't know what it is with him. I like watching him fight, but I think one of these times he's going to get caught dirty with one of these strikes and get himself DQ'd. But when I look at this matchup, a lot of people I think are going to be very, very high in Khalil Rountree. Recency bias after that fight against... Oh, fuck. There we go. Yeah, he's the guy that came in there. I'm going to start this over again, just so we're starting. So it's Cutelaba against Khalil Rountree. I've got Cutelaba, actually. I think it's an underdog. I think that he's got a bit of value to him. I think there's going to be a lot of recency bias on Khalil Rountree due to his last fight and his demolition of Eric Anders. But he does look a different fight. I've just never been the biggest Khalil guy, and he's burnt me in the past because I bet Gokhan Saki pretty religiously in that fight. I thought he was going to knock him out. Of course, he comes out and knocks him out pretty viciously as well. So, yeah, I think Kutelaba's obviously got the grappling advantage as well. So if he decides to use that grappling advantage, that would be a big thing, because I don't think Khalil can stop takedowns all that well. So yeah, I'm going to go Ion Cutelaba via knockout, but would it surprise me if Khalil Rountree knocked him out? Nope, not at all. But yeah, hopefully Cutelaba decides to use some wrestling here, because I think he's got a path to victory through that. So yeah, Cutelaba for the win. Gunnar Nelson against Gilbert Burns is up next. This is a hell of a fight and one I'm really, really struggling with. And I have been since I heard that Tago Alves pulled out and Burns had come in. I've been kind of flip-flopping a little bit. I was more on Gilbert Burns' side, more to start off with. But I think I've started to go more towards Gunnar Nelson. When you look at the fight in general, I mean, Gilbert Burns is coming back, 5 weeks after fighting in Uruguay against Kunchenko, which was a rough fight, kind of late in that one there. But what he does really well is he times takedowns really well. You watch his last 3 fights, I think he's got 3 or 4 takedowns in either fight, where he's just timed those takedowns to perfection. And once you get on the ground with this guy, you have to really mind your P's and Q's with his jiu-jitsu. The same can be said with Gunnar Nelson. This is an interesting fight if it hits the mat. And I think the way I've kind of looked at it is, I think Gunnar's style is more jiu-jitsu is more, it's better for MMA in my opinion, which is, I might be wrong in that, but I think for a pure jiu-jitsu guy, I think Gilbert Burns would probably be the better jits guy. I think that for MMA, I think maybe Gunnar's jiu-jitsu is maybe more tailored towards that. On the feet, I think Gunnar's obviously got that kind of awkward style. Don't think he throws enough. Kind of gasses a little bit. He took some shots against Leon Edwards as well. Gilbert, obviously, he's moved up to 170 and he took that fight in short notice, and he's also took this fight here where he's like, has he really been back in the gym since that last fight? Because it was only a short time ago. So it's like, is he going to be in like fight ready shape? Well, obviously he must think he is if he's taking this fight, because it's a tough fight to take. I would love to see this fight hit the ground and see who's got the advantage down in there. We've seen that with Damian Maia and Gunny before, where Damian was just a completely level or two above what Gunny is. And I think Gunny's one of the highest rated guys with jiu-jitsus in the sport, but he does get hit a lot. Like, and you can stop that kind of game plan. Like Rick Story did it in the past, and there's other people that have did it as well. Leon Edwards did that a little bit as well. I'm going to go Gunnar Nelson. Not confident at all. I think there's I think it's just going to be a very, very close fight. I think it might be one of these ones where it'll be clinched up a little bit. There'll be a couple of takedowns. I think they'll get back to their feet. I just see Gunny outlasting him a little bit. I feel kind of rough picking against Gilbert Burns there, actually. Yeah, I'm going to go Gunnar Nelson for the win. Mark Madsen against Danillo Belluardo is your co-main event. What is this all about? This should be down in the lower echelon of this card, but it is what it is. Mark Madsen, from what I'm hearing, is a very, very big star in Denmark. He's obviously an Olympic silver medalist. The guy turns 35 years old today. So happy birthday to the dude. 8-0 as a pro. Really hasn't fought all too much. He's not fighting a guy that's all too much yet. I think this is just set up to get the hometown guy a win. Belluardo got a couple of takedowns in that fight against Joel Alvarez, but ultimately got knocked out in the second round. Like I say, I think this is a fight made up for Mark Madsen to hump Danilo Belluardo for 15 minutes and win a very, very, very lackluster, dominant decision. So I've got Mark Madsen to win that one there. And the main event of the night, we have Jack the Joker Hermansson fighting the Killer Gorilla Jared Cannonier in a really interesting main event. In a main event where I haven't changed my tune. I'm still picking the guy that I'm picking. But when the fight was initially made, I thought, I really like this guy. And I made a parlay with him. See, as the last 2 weeks have come in, I'm like, this is a really dangerous, dangerous fight for Jack Hermansson. I'm picking Jack Hermansson. But the closer this fight gets, I think it's a very dangerous fight for him. I think he was looking at those big names, your Gastelums and your Chris Weidmans, and they fights fell by the wayside. And he's got Jared Cannonier here, who's looks in the best shape he's ever been in. He's going into people's backyards and winning. He went in against Dave Branch in New York, knocked him out in the second round after being taken down a few times. Went to Brazil, stopped Anderson Silva. It was a weird kind of fight that, but he's got the win over Anderson Silva, stopped him. And yeah, really, really good, powerful striking, good combinations. The guys obviously came down from heavyweight to light heavyweight, took some blows himself with losses to Dominic Reyes where he got knocked out. So he can be touched as well. But there are some things on Jack Hermansson's side which I do think he's got an advantage. I think when you look at pure striking, Jared Cannonier has got the advantage there. When you look at takedowns, jiu-jitsu, especially ground and pound, Jack Hermansson has those tools at his disposal. But Jack Hermansson, I thought, showed a really good striking, kind of well-timed takedowns in the fight with Jacare, and you have to be careful with someone like Jacare Souza going to the ground with him. Got a massive win there. I picked him. I think he was a big underdog there. It was a nice bet to pull through. It's one of my favourite bets of the years that I've actually kind of put through. But yeah, I just feel on the feet he has to be really, really careful, because Cannonier is very, very difficult on the feet and very fast. But he's also shown, if you go back and look through his kind of UFC career, you will see that he has been taken down numerous times. And I don't think he's faced someone with the ground and pound and the pressure on the ground as someone like Jack Hermansson, who's shown that he's got massive power. What I love about Hermansson as well is that he never quits on himself. Like, he really doesn't. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of durability. He showed that in the latest fight where he could have kind of took Anthony Pettis way out of that fight and quit. No quitting this guy whatsoever. Came out there and managed to get the finish. But you look, Jan Blachowicz took him down. Glover Teixeira took him down. Cutelaba took him down. I think Jack Hermansson can take him down. Now, if he gets him down, I think he can absolutely pound on Jared Cannonier and get the stoppage. But the longer this fight stays standing, the longer Hermansson, I think, could be in danger. So I think he has to do enough on the feet to get the fight to the ground. And I think once he gets it to the ground, his pressure, he's obviously got submissions there. That was a beautiful submission against Dave Branch. I think he can get the stoppage win. But at plus 200 for Jared Cannonier, I don't think that's a bad bet, honestly. I bet Jack minus 200. I parlayed him with Tai Tuivasa next week in Australia for plus 100. I think it was a minus 100 it was, sorry. But as the week's kind of getting closer, I'm a little bit iffy with that bet. I was pretty confident before, but yeah, I think this is going to be a closer fight than I initially thought. But I've got Jack Hermansson to win kind of a late TKO victory or submission in that fight there. So that's my picks for UFC Copenhagen. I apologise about the... something happened with my phone, it didn't connect and then it reconnected, so if I've missed something there, I apologise. I just want to say thank you for the people that have given me a thumbs up. If anybody wants to give me a late thumbs up, it'd be appreciated. And also, if you guys want to be in a chance to win a UFC poster of your choice, then I'm going to put a comment there, leave your name, we'll get that started. I think we're going to get that started next week at UFC 243. So until then, by the way, Robert Whittaker against Israel Adesanya next week. Oh boy, what a fight. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. Until next week, all the best and good luck if you're betting, DraftKings, whatever it may be. All the very best.